Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Hey, it's Walt again from American Bait Works. I have a special guest with me today. Uh, this is a guy that has started fishing the Elite Series this year and kind of taken everything by storm. Uh, one of our great pro staff members we're proud to have. We're proud to supply him with some great products, and it's Justin Hamner. Justin, you've done a great job this year, and congratulations on what you've done. And we look forward to the rest of the year. But today we want to talk a little bit about your season so far.
Thank you for that. It started out great. I'm super excited. I've been waiting for this my whole life, and finally get here. I mean, it's still like hadn't sunk in yet. It's just out there having a blast. That's the biggest thing. We're having fun, fishing free. I mean, that's whenever you can get like that. I think that's when you can start making things happen.
Absolutely, and it's a big honor. I mean, you're out there against the best in the world, and you're proving yourself. I mean, you're a rookie, I guess they say, but undoubtedly you're a very accomplished angler, and I know you are because I've known of you for a lot of years in Alabama and in the South, and it's great that you can take it to the next level and do as good as you've done. You know, with I believe it was a 26th place finish on the St. John's in the beginning. I said,
Yes,
it was crazy. You know, we were watching the results every day, and I'm like, you know, looking for all our guys, and I said, "There's Justin Hamner right up there at the top, man." And I was like, "Man, go get him!" And you did. And yeah, how was that for you?
that was fun. Anytime I'm in Florida, you can't beat it. Any cast can be a 10 or 12 pounder. I love it. I love Florida fishing. I mean, they are real finicky and stuff like that, but I don't know. I just kind of feel like I understand how they work a little bit better. But so I was locking up the Rodman, and that place has got them. I mean, I was getting fish, how I like to fish, throwing a jerk bait around. You could go behind guys that, everybody's dragging the worm, and which I call actually my biggest fish on. But if they weren't bedding, man, I could catch some fish out there. That place was awesome.
Yeah, it must have been. We watched it, and there's a lot of guys that struggled there, but you seem to get on them and stay on them, and it's amazing to me. It's one thing to fish a 1 day tournament and do real well, but a multi-day tournament like that, that's a big accomplishment to stay on those fish, and I'm sure you have to manage your fish a lot, and you've done a really good job of that for this being your first year on Elite Series.
I appreciate it. Yeah, something that I'm still trying to figure out too, because like Rodman, I feel like you go out there and catch whatever you can, burn it down every day. And then when we got to Knoxville, I mean, it was so hard to get bites. So a few of the key places I was catching fish, I really, once I got my limit, I just had to back off because I didn't know the next day. And obviously that last day, still one shy, but it was definitely different. But yeah, I'm still learning that process too. I don't think there's an exact science to it, but we're just gonna keep at it. Hopefully I can find enough fish every day. But that's one thing I enjoy, being able to just go out there and act like the day's another practice day. I mean, I have no problem with that. Doing it in a tournament, 10 o'clock, it ain't working. Well, let's go cover new water. That's my favorite.
Yeah, I mean, it's working so far, that's for sure. And so we talked a little bit after that tournament in Florida, and I don't remember your exact words, but I do remember you saying you couldn't believe you caught a fish the first day. You were so nervous on your first day in the Elite Series. But I would imagine the nerves went away pretty quick because you caught them pretty good, huh?
Yeah, it did. I mean, it was with that fog delay, and locking the Rodman. I only had about an hour and a half to fish at the most. And so, yeah, my nerves were a little bit shot, but we got in there and had a limit in about 20 minutes. So that definitely helped settle you down a little bit. Yeah, that was fun. They were biting that first day.
Yeah, that's good. And then you go to Tennessee. So you go from Florida, where it's supposed to be warm, and y'all had some warm weather, I think, during the tournament. And then you go to Tennessee, where it had been pretty cold for a while, and the water it's a total different game up there. And here we go again. You finished 14th, is that right there?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's awesome. And so that's I would imagine that got some people's attention. You go to your first one and you do well, they probably think, well, maybe he just stumbled up on him. But you go to Tennessee and you catch them too. So I'm sure you got some attention. You got my attention for sure.
That's awesome. I hope so. I hope somebody's looking. I don't know. But yeah, that Tennessee one, I love that grinders type tournament. Living on Lake Tuscaloosa, this place is terrible. If anybody's fishing, So, and if you figure out how to catch fish here, you can catch them anywhere in the country, I think. But being able to go into that tournament with that mentality of let's grind it out, let's get 5, that's right up my alley.
Yeah, it's amazing to me, looking back at it. I'm from Alabama. I live in Mississippi now, but I've lived in Alabama my whole life. And the number of successful pros that have come out of Alabama, I mean, it says a lot about, learning to fish in the state of Alabama, I believe,
Absolutely. I mean, we got such diverse fisheries. Tennessee River up there, everybody knows ledge fishing, grass fishing, Coosa River. I mean, I love Coosa River. That place is fun. But I mean, then you got Smith Lake that's, blueback herring lake. So within 2 hours, I can be pretty much fishing similar to anywhere else in the country. I mean, Florida is the only one we don't necessarily have, although Eufaula is similar, but they're still pretty different. But, that definitely helps where feel like I'm comfortable everywhere we go. At least I have been so far. I don't know about I'm excited to figure it out.
Well, I would think you might feel comfortable where you go next.
A little bit.
With you going to Pickwick, and it's in the home state, and we're looking forward to seeing what happens there, because I would think the time y'all are going to be there, Pickwick should be very, very good.
Yeah, that's what them ABT boys really showed what's in there this past weekend. They're gonna make us look bad.
Yeah, they made me look bad too, by the way.
Yeah, they do that a lot. But yeah, I'm really excited. In Pickwick, somewhere that I do have, history. I've been there several times, so I kind of feel like I know the lake, but I haven't been there so much to where I feel like I'll be, relying on history a whole lot as far as like specific spots, so I can still fish with that open mind. And I think that's key, especially for, places that, sometimes you get stuck, thinking this is the only way you can catch them and things like that. But, I don't know. I'm excited about this one.
Yeah. I think it's going to be good. I mean, we're looking forward to seeing what you do there, and keeping up all of, your momentum that you have right now. There's, I'm not going to say anything about, what you got ahead of you, because I don't want to jinx you, but I think you got a lot of opportunities ahead of you, because you got a really good start to the year. Then where do y'all go after Pickwick? Do you recall?
So they actually postponed the Sabine River, and so now Lake Fork is after Pickwick.
So I got you.
That's going to be, I think that's going to be a little bit of a beat down, Lake Fork in April.
Yeah, it probably will. I'm in Texas right now in a hotel room, and I just came off I didn't fish, but I was around Lake Fork today, and it's a beautiful place over here. Lots of bass boats running the road right now. So,
spring is coming real quick. It's about to be wide open.
Yeah, I hear the rumors of all the 13, 14 pounders that they're catching in Texas, and it's hard for me not to try to hitch a ride with somebody. I got a little too much work to do, but you ride by one of these beautiful lakes and you're thinking, man, I wish I could be out there whacking on them right now.
Yeah, you might have to postpone some meetings tomorrow, won't you?
Yeah, no doubt. I got to get back to Mississippi, so I don't know if I'm gonna make it. I got two stores to visit, and then I got a long trip back. So unfortunately, my Texas fishing trip won't happen this time. But hey, I hope when you come here, just make up for it. Just catch twice as many. It'll be good.
I'll try my best. I can promise you that.
Let me read a couple. I got a couple questions here for you, and so One of them is it's coming from Set the Hook Bait Company's website, and it is asking, what were your key baits on the Tennessee River?
Mainly was so I was throwing a Megabass 110. Nothing special. That was when I was really focusing up shallow. I had a lot of shallow rock, shallow wood, stuff like that, and really the key to it though for me, with that water being so cold, I was having to dead stick that thing. I mean, I was about to lose my mind. I'm used to running and gunning wide open, but the only way I could get them to throwing that jerkbait up there and literally just letting it sit around any type of little, isolated cover, trying to find stuff that a lot of guys wasn't beating up and things like that. And if you knew there was fish in there, you let it sit there long enough, I guess they'd just get mad enough. But throwing that, and then deeper, I had a couple of row beds I was fishing that throwing the +1, the Megabass 110 +1 out there on those beds and things like that. And caught a couple of DT6. I don't think they helped me a whole lot, and then after I'd get my limit, I'd pick up a chatterbait and just cover water as fast as I can, fishing laydowns and rocks and things like that, and try to pick up a couple of those better fish in the afternoon.
So I guess the next question is, on Florida, what'd you do?
Pretty much the same thing. I was throwing. So my biggest fish come off of the Set the Hook spike. It's just a 5-inch spike, black and blue. Just flipping that around the lily, isolated lily pads. That is what I was trying to key on. And but I did most of my damage off of jerkbait. I was throwing the Megabass 10s, the Duo Realis. I mean, pretty much everything. The new 13 fishing, I think they just come out with one. It's pretty good jerkbait too. But pretty much throwing the boat at them. I mean, everything. They did it all, but they were weird. Every day they change up a little bit. So I'd keep about 7 or 8 of them on the deck and figure out which one for the day.
There you go. So I had a question here, and this doesn't pertain to your tournament because I don't think you threw a scum frog in any of those tournaments. But Mark Seaman, he wants to know if you throw a scum frog on braid, and if so, what pound test would you use?
Absolutely throw it on braid. I mean, that's to me a necessity when you're throwing a scum frog. I don't think that they'll ever. At least I've never seen any that's been line shot on a frog. They come up and eat that scum frog. But most of the time it's 65-pound test. I'm using the 7.6 KS2 Elite heavy. I really like that rod because when they bite it, and key is to be able to feel it. As soon as you feel them actually have the frog, give her all you got. I mean, just lay into it, because that's usually you're throwing in the nastiest stuff you can find, and you want to have that braid to really be able to rip that stuff out of there, no doubt.
Yeah, I would agree with that for sure. I love to frog fish myself, and I'm a 65-pound braid guy myself. I'm sure you could do it with 50-pound, and you probably wouldn't break it. But I've always been a 65-pound braid guy, and
I've got my heart broke by 50.
Yeah, I can't drive it far enough in, so I set the hook pretty good when I'm frog fishing. So it's yeah. So I hope that answered your question. It's definitely braid. Braid floats, so that'll help your frog with your action on your frog. So I think if you ask 100 people, probably 98 of them would tell you they use braid on that. So
and the other two haven't thrown a frog.
So I got Brent Christopher Long. He says you guys were about a week too early. Loudon has started firing about midweek this week. He said this weekend will be good. So yeah. So he I guess y'all are. That weather that we had a month. I guess it's been 3 weeks to a month ago now. All over the South, kind of kicked everything back, in my opinion, a week or two. I think they were starting to move, and then it just kicked everything back. And I don't know if you experienced that, but that was something that I experienced.
Absolutely. And I think that's what made this a lot tougher over there, because it seemed like those fish were already, they were up shallow, and I guess they just had committed to it, because besides Gussie out there on that canal, it was really hard to find some of that offshore bite. I mean, they were up there shallow, and for all I know, that might just be where they live over there. But it definitely seemed like they started to push up there, and that cold winter, I mean, that weather really slowed them down, but they stayed up there.
So John Sowers wants to know what stop are you most looking forward to in the Elite Series this season?
Oh man, I'd be lying if I didn't say Neely Henry. I've spent so much time on the Coosa, and that's one of my favorite lakes, period. But I mean, I'm definitely excited to get to Fork, and it's just going to be a smash fest, I know. But Neely Henry's pretty near and dear to me.
Yeah, that's a good lake, and I'm sure, living in Alabama, everybody loves the Coosa River. I would think if you've ever fished it and you've caught some of those fish over there, it's a hard one not to love, because that whole chain is, like I said before, Tennessee River has kind of got my heart, but I lived in Gunner for a while, but it's hard to beat the Coosa chain. It's pretty awesome.
Them spotted bass, them things are mean. If you haven't got a chance to hook into one of them, you definitely need to. They're a different breed over there. I love them.
So I have a question for you that, I've been around the Elite Series for quite some time. And everybody tells me that you've made it on the Elite Series when they give you a nickname. What do you think? What do you think your nickname might be?
I don't know. I think me and Jamie Hartman might have to play rock paper scissors over Hamner. My name. I don't know. Other than that, it might be a beanpole or something like that.
Yeah, we had this discussion once years ago, and that's what I was told. I said, once you get a nickname, you've made it on the Elite Series. So I think you've got a pretty good start. So I'm feeling like you're going to have a nickname pretty soon. I would guess that Mercer would probably come up with a nickname pretty soon for you when you come up on stage.
I'm scared to know what it's going to
be. So Rayshawn Anders asked, "What's your favorite bait of all times?" And I might could answer that one for you because of what you've told us earlier, but I may not.
Yeah, if you find anybody else throwing a jerkbait in Florida, let me know. Me and him probably be friends. But yeah, absolutely a jerkbait. I mean, I would say I have a specific one, but every one of them, serves their own purpose to me. I really like the plus one is probably what I start with the most, but definitely a jerkbait.
Yeah. Yeah. So you guys got a pretty good northern swing this year, right?
Yes. Only 2 tournaments up there this year. We've got St. Lawrence River and Lake Champlain. So Lake Champlain, I heard they eat a jerk plow there.
Yeah, St. Lawrence, I guess you deal with a lot of current on that river, but it showed out just about every time the Elite's been up there.
Absolutely. I mean, it takes 25-pound bags up there. I mean, it seems like if you ain't got 20 pounds, you ain't even weighing in. That's gonna be fun.
Yeah. So Seth Parker got a question here, and it says, "Which derby are you least looking forward to?"
We already got past it. That was Knoxville. We good now. Well, I hope so. I don't know. One of them's gonna throw a curve at me, I know, but it was definitely Knoxville because there's so little information about it to me, or I had trouble trying to find some information on it and not being able to get any info, as far as stuff that isn't public. It was hard to figure out, a whole lot about this place. So I really went into that one pretty blind. And I was definitely a little nervous about it, but glad we come out pretty good.
Sounds like every time you get nervous, you kick the nerves pretty quick, though, because it worked for you.
As soon as we blast off, we just go and fish, and then I know how to do that part. I'll say that.
That's good. That's good. I think that's a really good attitude to have. It seems to be working very well for you. So, like on a fishery like that, on the Tennessee River, when you were up there at Knoxville, and you can't find information, Yeah, how do you go about, ciphering it out and practicing and figuring it out?
That's when uh, the instincts kick in, I guess. You go and do what you feel like you feel comfortable doing, and if you can figure out how to catch fish doing what you feel more comfortable doing, that's the way to go. So that's the way I always start out. If I can figure out a bite of the way I want to catch them and feel the best about catching them. I mean, I know that up there, basically all I found out is throw a shad wrap, and I ain't never threw a shad wrap hardly, so I ain't gonna start. When I have 2.5 days of practice in a Bassmaster Elite Series tournament. So I'm gonna fish it, how I want to fish it, and hopefully we can figure out something there. But really just keying in on like what I like to do, especially this time of year. You know that the fish are going to be moving shallow into the main spawning creeks and spawning pockets, so that's a good place to start. And what I would do is I go as far back as possible and then work my way to the main river and just try to figure out how far along they are, and that usually works pretty good for the limited time we have. So
Sure.
that's what I start with.
Yeah, to some people, 2 to 3 days of practice seems like a lot, but when you're, it's a lot of water out there,
Yeah, I think there were 2 lakes, about 100 miles, 110 miles to cover. It's definitely a lot, 2.5 days.
No doubt. No doubt. So, yeah, so we talked a little and about product, and we're happy that we can supply you with great product, and I hope it's working out for you well, and I think it is. We've talked a lot about it, and with your jerk bait, what rod do you use to throw a jerk bait?
So my 2 favorites so far are the KS2 Elite, the 610 medium. It's really awesome. It has a super soft tip, which is what you want in a jerk bait, because I mean, such a reaction bite, and with those treble hooks, you got to let them, take the bait. But one that's really starting to stick with me is that Scott Canterbury 7-foot cranking rod. For those, a little bit beefier jerk baits, man, that thing is awesome. It's got such a parabolic bend to it. You can really play those fish well on that rod. But those 2 for sure my favorite.
Yeah, I'm a that the softer tip and the parabolic bend are crucial. I think you got to have something to fight those fish with when you hook them. Plus, you got to have that tip to make that jerk bait do what you want it to do. So
you got to make that thing dance.
And I'm not a jerk bait specialist by any means, but I do like to throw it a lot and hope to catch one on it. But it's a fun way to fish, and it's a productive way to fish for sure. And he said Jason Shockley was asking, what jerk baits do you throw on the KS2?
The KS2, probably that's when I'm going to be throwing more of the mega bass, a little bit of the smaller ones, like the mega bass 110s, the +1, and then when I move to some of the bigger baits, like some of the old Smith wicks, big 5-inch, 5.5-inch, things like that, and some of the deep, more Duo has a really good jerk bait. Throw it a lot, but those larger baits, that's when I'm throwing on the Scott Canterbury 7-foot.
Yes.
Work on either one, no doubt. I just like to have a little bit more beef behind it on those bigger jerk baits, because you're using 4 and 5 size treble hooks versus those smaller 6s.
Yeah, super active and soft tip on that KS2 is it casts that small jerk bait real well. Casts small crankbaits, like 1.5 crankbaits. It's really a joy to fish with. I mean, it has a really good tip on it, so it does real well with those. And some of the challenges with jerk baits that I've had are casting jerk baits at times, and it does a real good job with that.
Absolutely, you can bomb that thing because it's got that, like you said, just that such a soft tip. And when you get one, you'll know what we're talking about. I mean, it's to the point where when you go to hook your bait on the rod and the reel a little bit, it'll actually just bow that thing in if you're not watching. I mean, it's crazy how soft tip it is, but it has that good backbone to be able to really, still be able to manage the fish.
That's right.
What I like.
Yeah. So Tim Redding made a comment and said all these elites can't be as hard as Lake T. Yeah, I would assume Lake Tuscaloosa, so I'm sure they're not.
No doubt about it. I'd rather fish against these guys than these Tuesday night guys over here don't play.
There you go. So Miles Palmer asked a question as to what's your favorite lake to fish?
Lake is probably my favorite, if I had to say. I mean, I love Okeechobee back when it was, in its prime. That was no doubt. It was a blast, and I still love those Florida lakes. But Lake is so diverse. I mean, you can catch them flipping, frogging, swim jig, and then you can go out on the ledges. I mean, catch spotted bass wide open. It's got it all, and that's my favorite thing. It's really diverse and it just has so many fish in there. I mean, you're gonna catch a lot of fish. It's definitely a good one.
Yeah, it's a good lake. I mean, that Coosa chain, and it's a good one on that chain for sure. So we got another question here from Sean Timbeck. He wants to know why bait caster over spinning for a jerk bait. He said we use spinning on the Great Lakes for giant smallies.
I'm gonna bust that secret out the bag too, but I definitely do use it on spinning too. It has its time and place, no doubt. When definitely in the clear water, you want to get that jerk bait down deeper and things like that. I'll definitely throw it on a spinning rod. But around here, a lot more shallow cover. You really want to have that bait caster for being able to manage those fish better. I mean, when you're out on, big lakes like that, deep, clear water, you don't have to worry about snagging it and, them getting around things like that. But down here, we might have to haul some out of a tree or something.
That's right, yeah. And in the South, traditionally, bait casters win over spinning on most things. But it's changing a lot. I've seen a lot more spinning rods in the past 4 or 5 years, and people are figuring it out. I've fished with a spinning rod for a long time, but people are starting to use spinning rods. I can remember going to a tournament and fishing a spinning rod, and a guy passed by me and asked me why I was using a sissy rig. And,
we call them fairy wands, but them fairy wands will whoop your butt at times.
That's right. And we got some new spinning rods that we've come out with, and we've just got them in the last week in the KS2 series and in the HFX series. So, you guys that are looking for some good spinning rods, we have expanded our spinning rod selection in the last couple of weeks at Halo.
Absolutely. I'm really excited about that new HFX, the 7.6. We might do some work with that one.
Yeah, it's going to be good. And we were a little light on spinning rods going in, but we've really upped our game on that, and we're going to continue. And we just try to do what we need to do to keep up with the needs of all the anglers, and with help from people like you and some of our other pro staff. It's very important to us, not only for rods, but for all of our baits, for everything. That's why we have you guys. I mean, you guys are the experts at the end of the day. I mean, you're out there doing it every day. I would love to be out there doing it every day, but I have a job to do. But you guys are out there day in and day out. You see the good, the bad, and what's so cool about having pro staff like yourself is you don't mind telling us the bad, and that's good for us because we need to know if we have something that's not working. And I think all of our pro staff is like that, and it's wonderful to have that, because we got to know to make the best thing out there.
Absolutely. That's one of my favorite things. I mean, I can call you up. We're going to talk fishing for 20 minutes and then, hey, what about this? And, my feedback, and y'all really showing that y'all actually do care. And that's truly means a lot. So to put the best product out there, I feel like you got to go to the people, and I feel like I fish a pretty good bit, but
I might should ask your wife about that. She may agree, that you fish pretty good bit. Huh?
She might. I don't know. I think she enjoys when I get kicked out of the house.
Oh, but yeah, that's good. But yeah, it is important, and not only from our pro staff, but we listen to everybody, you know. And with NetBait, we're working a lot of new things there, and working on some new colors, and it's just from feedback from people and what people want and need, and so you know, we're always trying to go the extra mile to make sure everybody's taken care of as much as we can.
Absolutely. I mean, this industry it's that's why I like it so much. Everything's always changing. There's always, you know, going to be new gear and new techniques and things that come out. And, you know, seems like y'all guys are really staying on the ball, really keeping up with it. And that's really good things to come. I'm excited about too.
Yeah. So yeah, you know, we look forward to the rest of your season. I hope, you know, we're talking in a few weeks about your win at Pickwick. I think that'd be a great live that we could have, and we'll all be celebrating. And I think there's a good chance of it. I really do, and I wish you well there and everywhere else that you go. And we'll be behind you all the way here at American Bait Works to help support you and provide you with the equipment that you need.
I really appreciate it. We get that blue trophy. We're not doing this on video. We're going to be having a party in live.
It's going to be showing up live then, right?
For sure. Everybody's invited on that one.
Well, good deal. And I see it coming in your future. I really do. And it's exciting to see how well you're doing, and just to hear, you know, how calm you are about it, and how you have the confidence that you do. There's no doubt in my mind that you're going to do well, and you're already doing well, and I'm sure you'll continue.
I really appreciate it. Thank y'all for letting me be able to work with y'all. I'm just excited to be able to finally live in my dream. I get to go fishing every day. I love it.
Yeah, that's a lot of our dreams, and you know, I'm in a dream job myself. I get to work in fishing, I get to talk about fishing, I get to talk to cool guys like you about fishing, and it's awesome, you know, and you know, we're going to keep it up. We're going to keep moving forward at American Bait Works. We're going to make great products, and we're going to provide them to you, and I know you're going to keep up the good work that you're doing on the Elite Series, and we just wish you the best of luck.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Walt.
All right, and thank everybody for your questions. And if you have any questions that we haven't answered, you can send them to the info@americanbaitworks.com, and we'll be sure to get your questions answered. And you guys stay tuned. We'll have another one of these soon, and we appreciate everybody watching. And Justin, you have a good night.
Thanks, you too.
All right.